watching The Breakdown with the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman.
And welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown. I am the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman, and with us is our co-host, MMA Professor. Yes, he goes by MMA Professor now. Colin Crandall, my man, what's up? How's it going on this Friday evening?
All good, Garrett. All good. Always happy to be here with you. I have to say that when we're talking about the things that are integral to a great fighter, courage, heart, just belief in themselves, and just being fearless, then you are the man. You've jumped off tall buildings, you've skydived, and I personally have watched this man swim in the Everglades on at least 3 or 4 occasions. The last time there was 2 huge alligators that were about to jump at him, and from about neck deep in the water, he jumped in the air and ended up on dry land. Unfreaking believable. I've never seen anything like it, but he's too humble to admit this stuff, though. So.
Yeah, we'll go with that. All right. All right. But yeah, so how's everything going, man? How's MMA Power Hour going? What's on the horizon?
A lot of good stuff. MMA Power Hour will be in our new studio location starting next Tuesday. The last one we were in for 3 years, and then the one before we were in for about a year. I'll tell you the funny thing about the first room, the first small studio room, which is the smallest that we were in for just 2017 March until I think the first January of 18. That was a small 8x8 room or something. And we started in March of 17, and it gets really hot everywhere in the summer, and it was super hot, and we couldn't have any fan in there because it would have screwed with the sound. So those first 10 or 12 or 15 shows, I was on the camera alone. It'd be between 110 and 120 degrees heat, and we would sometimes do a 4 or even 5 hour show. And so it was freaking insane. I mean, literally, I was doing it from like a sauna, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, the last one was comfortable. And the funny thing is, the last one was kind of in a basement studio. And even though it's California, it can get a bit cold in the winter, especially if you're in a basement. And once in a while, it'd be 48 degrees down there, 52. And we'd be wearing jackets, and some jackass would troll us and say, "These guys are inside. What the hell are they wearing jackets for?" And I was like, dude, sometimes you guys got to figure out, right? If it's cold, guys will be wearing a jacket on a broadcast. It doesn't.
But hey, if you want to wear a jacket, you can wear a jacket.
This is true as well. But it is funny. I mean, trolls will figure out all kinds of things.
Yeah, man. Some of them just, that's all they do.
Exactly.
That's what they love to do. And you know what? Yeah, more power to them, because at the end of the day, they're tuning in, they're watching you, they're ingesting what you have to say, they're technically listening to what you have to say, whether they like it or not, and it's all that matters.
That's right. Like the 60s hippie saying was tune in, turn on, and drop out. And
there you go.
I think that's returned for our new Xenial society and some millennials. So, but anyway, all good, man. Well, this is a lot of excitement. Garrett Kerman, the fight analyst. We're going to bring the power along with the analyst, and we're going to do another killer breakdown. I think this is our fourth or fifth time doing this together.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. We've been killing it. Unfortunately, had some things, and stuff happens last week, but we're back at it. I've been absolutely on fire. Holy crap! We're talking 3 of the last 4 fight cards. I swept the board. We're talking Bellator. Both contender series swept across the board. We're looking to continue the heat this week.
You are the Elvis Presley of fight handicap.
Okay, I mean, I'll take it as a compliment, I guess.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get the show on the road. We'll start on the preliminary fight card. All right, we're going to start in the bantamweight division. In a fight between Zivad Lajashvili, I guess that's how we're going to pronounce it, and Jonathan Martinez. Lajashvili is a minus 126 favorite, and the comeback on Martinez is a plus 108 underdog. Lazarishvili is taking this fight on 3 days' notice and is a favorite. He's a
That's
favorite
really weird.
3 days' notice. But guess what? He opened as a minus 200 favorite.
So now the action is coming in on Martinez. Okay.
Yes,
Do me a favor.
rightfully so.
Yeah, and one thing I've got to ask the audience here, forgive me, I'm just not able to have any sort of access to any digital media here other than the cell phone. So I'm going to have to ask the fight analyst to give me some info that normally I'd be looking at when I look to the side. So tell me, Jonathan Martinez, tell me if you would real quick, how much UFC experience he has in his record.
He's got 7 UFC fights.
And he's probably lost 4 or something, or 5, right?
I believe he's lost like 2 or 3.
So, but
I know he lost to Davey Grant, which is his last one, and Andre Ewell. Oh, and Andre Sukumtov, right? So he's 4-3 in the UFC.
And he's coming
he's coming off a knockout loss to Davey Grant back in March. He's beaten Thomas Almeida, Franklin Science, Pyongwan Liu, Bjorn Waligi. So he's got some good wins under his belt.
And for those old video game enthusiasts, he's also lost to Mario and Luigi.
No, Waligi.
There we go. Pretty close. Well, it made me think of that. Okay, his opponent, is this a UFC debuter or something, or no?
Right. He's the LFA bantamweight champion. He beat, I think, Ricky Steele for the LFA title. First round rear naked choke submission. It was very impressive. He's a Georgian wrestling champion, so he's got really good grappling credentials. He's won, I think, in 2015. He's won 3 titles in 3 different weight classes in Georgia.
Nice.
And you know how Georgia's been doing, man. They've been crazy.
Yeah,
they've been so good.
With Marab, with
Marab, Giga Chikadze. I mean, Ilya Taporia. I mean, they've got some killers. They got killers.
Without a doubt, man. They're doing better than the state of Georgia as far as top contenders, pretty much, aren't they? Which is unusual.
That's for sure.
You know, it's funny how when you mentioned this Ricky Steele, for a minute I was thinking to myself, this guy that I saw who started his career in about 1992 or so. And then I thought, wait a second, that was Danny Steele, and that was in kickboxing. And I was like, if Danny Steele started his career in 1992, he'd be probably close to 50 years old now. So I was figuring he's probably not in there. But if he was, he's an exciting fighter. Anyway, enough of that craziness. This is a weird fight. I wouldn't advise anyone to bet on this fight. This is a complete X Factor fight. You have a guy who's a tough guy, but isn't having a lot of success in the UFC, and Jonathan Martinez against the guy with a Mirab Dvalishvili last name, but not.
Well, they've trained together too, and Marab actually gives him credit for his wrestling, saying his wrestling is better than his.
Wow. But, I could say your wrestling was better than Habib.
Well, I get that, but I mean, I do believe he is
probably good.
A good wrestler. I don't believe he's nowhere near Marab. I've watched it; it's good. Don't get me wrong,
right. But for Marab to say that, he probably believes in the guy's potential. So yeah, I'm not trying to rip on you or Marab on that. I mean, so by all intents and purposes, it sounds like the Georgian should win this fight. I that's weird. I mean, Martinez's back is against the wall. He needs this win. He's in a much worse position than the UFC debuter. It almost seems like the debuter is the A side here, and unfortunately, they probably have expectations of this guy to be a big star, and they don't care if this ends up being the last fight for Martinez. So I'm going to say no bet on this, but probably the Georgian. How about you?
Yeah, I was really hoping that Lazarishvili was going to be, a decent sized underdog, because I was 100 going to bet him, 100% going to bet him if he was like plus 160, plus 170, plus 180. I was definitely going to bet him there. But then I see him open as a minus 200 favorite. We're like, whoa. I'm like, odds makers know something. They have to know something to line a guy that's taking a fight on 3 days' notice.
Yeah.
That really hasn't faced any good competition other than Ricky Steele. You're talking about 10 of his wins have come against professional debut fighters. They haven't fought a single professional fight in their career. He's beaten 10 pro debut fighters to get to the LFA. So it was a very big surprise to me that the odds makers would make him such a heavy favorite against a guy that has a full camp, and that was just a 3.5 to 1 favorite against Aaron Phillips. So how are you going to go from minus 350 to plus 170?
It's
against
just
a guy is taking the fight on 72 hours notice. I don't know.
I mean, it reminds me of that last fight where I cashed in pretty well on Luana Carolina over Lupe Godinez. I mean, the odds makers were like, Carolina's garbage and all this and that. And I was like, what the hell? I was really WTFing the whole thing. I'm like, come on, this girl is fighting a week
It could be the same here,
Yeah,
it could be the same instance.
It really could. I don't have that much confidence in this situation,
Right.
but it really could. In that situation, I wish I had bet the house on that because I knew, and not only that, but for the odds makers to have made Godinez like minus 260 and 280 was just like completely off, and I knew it.
Well, I mean, I don't think they opened. Did they open that steep? I think it did.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, this is Godinez's fight. And I'm like,
well, it's because recency bias, what she just did, and Carolina hasn't looked the greatest either.
Right, exactly. But she was just bigger. She was too big, and it was just silly. Anyway, in this case, I can't advocate any bet on this one. But if I was forced to lean one way or the other, it would be to the Georgian. And I think you're the same, or you?
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I think Lajashvili wins. Unfortunately, we're not getting the price that I want. I'd rather take him at dog. I don't like taking a guy on 3 days' notice as a favorite. I think that's a little too crazy to bet for me. So, I'm gonna stay away. I do think he wins. Maybe a small prop bet on the submission prop at plus 380. No, it's actually plus 550.
Yeah,
plus 550 for him to win by submission. I think that's a pretty healthy prop there.
Yeah.
Or is it 380?
No,
I'm sorry. Wait, what is it? What the hell is it? It's plus 360. That's still a good enough line for me.
Yeah. You know what I'll do? I like that. I agree. You know what I'll do to pay an homage to one other guy that does a show? I'm going to do something similar to what he does. I'm going to say this is because I'm not a drinker, so I'm going to say this is a caramel corn and Mountain Dew fight. No betting, but we'll say CMD. We'll call this a CMD CCMD, caramel corn and Mountain Dew fight. You'll be eating my caramel. In fact, I can't eat that shit. This is why I've got. So don't. But Garrett, as young as you are, you can eat that for me. And
I'll eat it for you. I'll make sure that it gets done.
There we go. I appreciate it because I'm gonna get in great shape again, and that shit is not gonna help me. So, but there'd be no betting. So if I was forced to either bet or drink Mountain Dew and the caramel corn, even though I've got 12 pounds to lose, this would be caramel corn and Mountain Dew, fight.
All right. Moving on, we have a fight in the women's strawweight division between Lavinia Souza and Ronda Marcos. Right now, Souza is a minus 122 favorite, and the comeback on Marcos is a plus 104 underdog.
Gotcha. So this fight I don't need any help on, even though I can't see anything as far as records. I know these fighters. So Lavinia Souza, also known as Livia Henata Souza, at this time 4 years ago was a killer. She was the Invicta champion and was absolutely killing it. In fact, she looked like a pint-sized Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Right? She looked a little bit like that physically, and her skills seemed kind of like that. And then it just all kind of blew up in her face. It's like literally as soon as the bright lights of the UFC was part of the equation, that was it for her. And I've had people say that it just seems like there's an IQ problem or communication problem between the fighter and her corner. I'm never going to rip on someone for not having a good fight IQ, because fighting is hard, and especially all the great wins she has, she's tough. But something's going on. It seems like at this higher level, or either that, or she's gotten a little bit older. What are the ages of both women? Can you tell me? They're both, but one, I think Souza's got to be slightly younger, but Randa's got to be like 36 and Souza 33 or something. Am I right?
30 for Souza.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah,
Randa,
she's young. And Ronda is 36.
okay. So I've got some strong feelings on this fight. Randa got ripped off in that last fight. That was the worst. That was the Oscar-winning performance by her opponent. Was it Pinheiro or something like that?
I mean, she did illegally kick her, though.
She did, but I don't know. Anyway, the bottom line is that Randa Marcos is a nice girl. She's from Canada. She's done a lot of training in my home state of Michigan, with some of the Michigan top team and some other real good people there. Now she's with my boy Justin Adams, who was like Team Kevin Holland. Justin Adams. They're talking to some other really great people and helping with Jesse Jess on this card. And Justin is a super cool dude. I did a breakdown, not called the breakdown, but I did a fight breakdown with him last week, and he's an awesome guy, super cool dude, black belt in jiu-jitsu and former MMA fighter. Anyway, Randa is so prepared for this fight. She's come up short in several fights against really good opponents, and she's a talented girl. She's a little bit older, but this fight is so important because probably if she loses, she gets cut. And so it's almost like the Batman, or even like probably the old Batman TV series from the 60s. You see the conveyor belt, you're on it, and you're getting closer and closer to the blade that's spinning around, and you don't want to get caught in that. And on the flip side of it, like Lavinia is in a similar place, except she's 6 years younger. So this is a fight where both women are going to fight really hard. I just think that the more talented fighter at this point is Randa Marcos. And I really believe that she's going to either win a close fight or she may even dominate with her wrestling. And so I really feel good about Randa Marcos here. And I know from a gambling standpoint, you might say, how are you going to bet someone that's won out of their last 7 fights? But I don't think Souza's won too many more than that, maybe 3 of her last 7. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. This is an interesting matchup. It really could go either way. Both women's backs are against the wall, but I'm feeling Randa Marcos on this one. I think she puts out a stellar performance to save her job with the UFC, and does win this fight, either close or clearly, but does win this fight.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to bet Marcos given her recent stretch of performances. She's lost her last 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, which is never good, obviously. If you look at Souza, she's only 1-2 in her last 3. Not good there either.
But look at the level of competition also. I'm sorry to cut into your time, but level of competition, I think, is tremendously weighed over in favor of Marcos. Go ahead, though, anyway. Sorry.
In a way, you talk about Amanda Lemos is probably going to be a contender soon. She's got some insane power. She at least dominated Ashley Yoder to a unanimous decision, whereas Marcos's last win was a split decision over Yoder 2 years ago. And Souza's only 2 losses in the UFC are Amanda Lemos and Brianna Van Buren, who's also a really good prospect.
Yes.
Yeah. So no fault there, but like Marcos has been losing to everybody. I know she's been losing to good competition, and I get that. But she's 10-11. She's 10-11. I don't think anybody should be betting anybody in the UFC if their record is 10-11 and has a losing record in the UFC. That's not good. That's not good whatsoever. And whether whether you believe in Susan or not, I'm not betting her. But don't go bet on Marcos. I can't do it. Maybe she wins, yeah. But plus 104, you're getting even money on a girl that's 10 wins and 11 losses.
Right. So
I mean, you got to give me something more for me to bet on you, and where you're only have 10 wins in 21 fights.
Yeah. So this is, in other words, this is another caramel popcorn and Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm betting on this fight. I'm not. I mean, I'll tune in to see who wins at the end, but I'm definitely not gonna be fully invested watching this tooth and nail for the entire 15 minutes. Because if I do, I might fall asleep in midday down here in South Florida.
Understood. And that's not good when you're preparing for another swim in the Everglades.
I'm preparing. I'm ready to go swim with some gators. Get it on.
That's it. You got those gator speedos with a gator on the right.
Oh yeah.
On the right leg. I know those are something you don't pull those out for just any sort of occasion. I think.
No.
Anyway,
when you go swim with the gators. All right.
That is key. Okay, so another no bet. It's hard to get a read. Well, no bet for you, but I'm going Marcos. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. I wouldn't tell people to cash out.
And mind you, she has 10 wins in 22 fights because she has a draw.
Yeah, I know. So I still like her. I feel 1 unit, maybe 1.5 units is what I'm looking at on Marcos.
All right, let's keep it moving. In the flyweight division, the men's flyweight division, we have a fight between Jeff Molina and Daniel Da Silva. Right now, Jeff Molina is a -162 favorite, and the comeback on Da Silva is a +136 underdog. What do you got?
Jeff Molina wasn't like the same John Molina that fought Tony Lopez for the boxing title in 1988, is he?
I'm gonna go with I don't think so.
Right, because how old would that make him? He's 60 years old, I think. So that'd be bad.
Flyweight.
Yeah, that's true. But the weight was similar. Anyway, that's enough of that silliness. Anyway, so Jeff Molina and who's his opponent?
Daniel Da Silva. He's a UFC debuter, 11-1 in his career.
And what are the odds?
Right now, -162 for Molina, +136 for Da Silva.
Yeah, I just don't get a read on this. This card is let's say this card is not star-studded here.
No, it's definitely not star-studded, but we got some pretty good fights. This is gonna be an entertaining fight. The opening fight is gonna be a very entertaining fight. I mean, we got some really good fights on this fight card, even though we don't know majority of these names.
Yeah,
like, this is a really good action-packed fight card. And it's midday too.
It is. You mean this one starts like at 11 in the morning or
Pacific? It starts at 11 in the morning your time. It starts at 1 o'clock here.
Right. Well, that'd be 2
10 o'clock. Oh, sorry, 10 o'clock.
10 in the morning here. Wow.
Yeah. My bad. My math's not there right now.
But they're in Vegas, right? Why do they do this shit? Why do they do that? Why do they have these weird start times if it's in?
Well, they're going head to head with Bellator, just like Bellator did last weekend. So
I gotcha.
Yeah. They want to go head to head and beat their numbers.
That's right. Yeah, I don't get a read on this. I just don't know enough. I can't.
Our man over here, Simon, says he's like their start time is rubbish at 4 a.m. Oof.
Man, that's right. They're over there. He's in the UK, obviously.
No, he's in OZ. Where? OZ? The OZ? Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, he is Australia. What am I talking about?
Aussie.
Yeah, he's.
Love the Aussies. Awesome, amazing people. But anyway, so I would say if forced, I'd lean Molina. I just don't get a read here. What's your thoughts on this?
It's actually a fight I'm looking forward to. I've watched tape on on Da Silva. He's action packed. All of his 11 wins have come inside the distance, so he's a finisher. I think it's spread between six submissions, 5 knockouts, so he could do it all. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw some wild techniques out there. So he's going to be fun. He's going to go for takedowns. He's really good with his grappling. I think he's a black belt. Don't take that to heart, but I know he's pretty good in his grappling. Molina, dude, has got insane cardio. He's insanely tough. He's got crazy volume. He's a great fighter. Good movement. I think he's just a little small. He does get taken down. He does give up his back. And I do think that might be, a disadvantage here. If he does take it down and give up his back, I really do think De Silva could potentially get his back and get the win via submission. It's not something I'm like banking on happening because it is his debut. He's going against a pretty good prospect as well. But I kind of like that prop because De Silva by submission is plus 550.
Right. Well, but then with Molina's wins, you could say he has 6 sick submissions. Right.
That was De Silva.
That was De Silva. His six submissions were sick. All 6 of them. Those submissions. Right? And there we go. But anyway, try to say that 5 times fast. So yeah, no, I don't know. I think someone is going to sleep. I think maybe via submission.
Yeah, I think I what my favorite bet is the under 2.5 rounds at plus 120. I think both these guys can get finishes. De Silva, I don't think he's been out of the first round, more than a couple times. I don't think he's been out of the second round at all in his entire career. So the longer this fight goes, the more it favors Molina. And I could see him getting, a late finish. I know I see a lot of people throwing out that round 3 Molina prop at plus 1,200. It's not a bad bet. Those people betting it on Twitter, kudos to you. I think that's a wise bet considering you got a fighter in De Silva that's not gone three rounds. I don't think at all. And, if it hits that 3rd round, he's probably going to be gassed because he goes balls out in the first 2 rounds trying to get the finish. So, if Molina can weather the early storm and not get finished, not give up his back, not get submitted, he could pull off the win and get a late finish. But I have the finish. It's not going the distance, and we're getting plus money on the under 2.5 rounds. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they both these got to fight hard. These guys have to fight hard because they don't they're not in the most glamour weight division. What weight division is this?
125.
Yeah, flyweight. I mean, the bottom line is if the guy.
It's gonna be action packed. I'm telling you, when you watch this fight, if you're up, you're gonna realize it's a really good fight. It's these two are gonna come to throw down. I think it's one of the underrated fights on this fight card.
Yeah, no, I believe it, but they have to fight hard because if the guy who loses this fight, if he loses another one, he'll probably be out here in Southern California fighting in an 8-man tournament in San Pedro.
That sounds about right.
And those are a little dangerous. They've been going on for quite a while. Probably bare knuckles MMA as well.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
There you go, with headbutts.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
the good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. For $500 though, a little bit too much. You'd have to have the courage. You'd have to have the courage of a Kerman to participate in those sort of fights. And I don't know if those two gentlemen have that. So
I don't know. All right, moving on. What's up, Joseph? Thanks for tuning in with us this evening. Next up, we got a fight in the lightweight division between Kama Worthy and Jai Herbert. Right now, Herbert is a minus 184 favorite, and the comeback on Kama Worthy is a plus 154 underdog. Who do you got?
Gotcha. Well, I like to think of Jai Herbert as Michael Jai Herbert, as kind of an homage to Michael Jai White. I think that was his original name, but he didn't want to seem like he was copying Michael Jai White. Does anyone even remember who Michael Jai White is?
I got nothing.
The martial arts actor, man, that sucks because.
Oh yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, African American guy, buff guy,
yeah.
But he's older. Yeah. He's older guy, yeah. Anyway, so this is Jai Herbert. Man, oh man, Kama Worthy, I like him. He's a tough guy out of the Midwest, out of the Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, I think. Had him on my show a few times. The Death Star. His story is interesting. He fights and fights and fights all kinds of tough guys. Compiles a decent record, but not one that was probably going to get him to the UFC. He takes a last-second match, literally at a couple days' notice, fighting a guy who was streaking. Devontae Smith catches him, knocks him out. Wins his next fight, I think, by submitting, Luis Pena, the violent Bob Ross, who, as we've now seen, is too violent for the UFC, and is no longer in there. But then loses. I mean, Atman Azaitar, that guy's a beast. And even though it's shame on him for deciding to creep around the walls or have someone creep around the ledges of the hotel in Abu Dhabi to somehow put something in his hotel room or
Well,
whatever.
he's back in the UFC now.
He's
So
back in the UFC, yeah, but he is a beast. And then he got caught by Jamie Malarkey, I believe, and he's a beast also, as we see. So both men, I think, are coming off 2 losses. Am I right on that? Can you look?
yeah, they are.
So sadly enough, this might be like a loser go home.
Both got finished too, no less.
Yeah. They call like in pro wrestling, it was like loser go home.
Right. That's probably what's going to happen here.
Right. Usually in pro wrestling, though, the reason why it was that was one of the wrestlers had already told Vince that he was going to want to retire after the next card anyway. And so they said, perfect, we'll make this a loser go home match and you lose. So there was a lot more fun with that than here in real life where no one's being set up and wanting to lose their job in the UFC, unfortunately. They're going to fight really hard. This is going to be an exciting fight. I feel the Death Star, Kama Worthy, he's a dog here. I think there's value on him. I like him. I think he's talented. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, though. And I'm going Kama Worthy, but I probably would go half a unit, maybe 1 unit. What do you think?
I had such high expectations for Jai Herbert coming in to the UFC. I've watched him a ton over the Cage Warriors. He's Cage Warriors lightweight champion. And Cage Warriors is a good promotion. They got a lot of good, prospects that come into the UFC. Conor McGregor was one of them. So, I had a lot of high expectations. He looked good in the Trinaldo fight until he got absolutely blasted to another realm. And, ever since he has been the same. Then he got taken down, submitted rather quickly by Morcano. I just think both these guys have durability issues, as we've seen. Kamaworthy's chin is I don't know how much intact it is right now. He's super tough. He's got the skills. He's got the submission games. He's got the power. It's whether or not he can put it together and his chin holds up. I don't know if either one of these two chins are going to hold up in this fight, to be honest with you, because they're going to be coming and just throwing down in the middle. I don't see a ton of grappling exchanges happening. So they're just going to come in there, throw down, and I think one of them is getting out of there. If you have under 2.5 rounds, I would take that. I think it was a little juice at minus 220, minus 230, but one of these guys is going to sleep. One way or the other, one of these guys is getting knocked out.
Yeah,
I don't see either one of these two going the distance. They both got, really good power, and they're going to stand and bang in the center of that octagon. It's going to be a good fight, though. I'm looking forward to it.
I agree. Now, I have a question for you. Not a lot of people know these guys. I think maybe Kamaworthy has had more people watch him fight from who he's
fighting. Yeah, for sure.
So what if, this is just a quick funny question, what if Jai Herbert's team had another guy who was like really killing it in a regional promotion that's, was maybe going to get called up to the UFC soon or Bellator, who's just like on a killer undefeated streak, and he's the same weight and the same, background as Jai Herbert, and they sent him in on fight day to fight in place of Jai Herbert. Would anyone
notice? I'm pretty sure they would notice.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure everybody would notice.
Really? I don't know.
I mean, Jai Herbert pretty much stands out. The dude's like 6'1". He's a lightweight, and yeah.
But what if the other guy was as well?
I mean, he would have to look exactly the same.
I don't. How many people know what Jai Herbert? How many officials do you think know?
I'm pretty sure everybody at the UFC knows who the hell Jai Herbert is by now.
You have more faith in that than I do. I have a feeling as long as the other guy showed up at the weigh-ins or for the media day stuff, they wouldn't know the difference. I'm just going to tell you, someone should try that once just for shits and giggles, and then, have one of their training partners who's really good, better than them, show up and take the fight. Anyway, I don't advocate anyone doing this, but I just think, this would be fun. But anyway, I think that, this is going to be a great fight. The under, I think, violence is the bet on this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. All right. Moving on, we have a fight in the middleweight division between Laureano Staropoli and Jamie Pickett. Right now, Staropoli is minus 225 favorite, and a comeback on Pickett, it's a plus 188 underdog. Who do you got?
Tell me Staropoli's last 3 fights.
Well, he moved up in weight to 185 on short notice to take on Roman Dolidze and lost.
Okay, so he is that guy. He is
Yeah.
that guy.
And he's lost 3 in a row to Tim Means and Muslim Salikov as well.
And so in this fight's at 170, right?
No, it's 185.
And when he fought Dolidze, it was at 205, right?
It was 185.
But he had
He's a 170.
okay.
Normal.
Okay, so this kid's got good hands. This kid definitely has good hands.
He does.
And he's gone up against some very tough guys, especially going up in weight against Dolidze. And that's Staropoli. Tell me a little bit about Pickett. Remind me of his last few fights.
Well, he's lost to Jordan Wright and Tafan Chukwi. His last two. But he knocked out Jonathan Patti on the Contender Series.
Man,
he's fought them. He was on the Contender Series 3 times. He's fought the better competition, obviously. Maybe. No, I don't know about that. I don't say about obviously. I think Staropoli's fought better competition, to be honest.
And the favorite Staropoli, right?
Yeah, good size favorite, minus 225.
It's just such a weird fight, man. Like, I was leaning Pickett, even though I'm not that much.
Man, I'm not betting this fight.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust either one of these two with my money. But if I were to bet, I would have to go with Pickett. I mean, you're getting plus 188. He's a bigger, stronger guy. He's got an 8-inch reach advantage. I mean, he's got the physical advantage. Yeah. And sometimes that overcomes the skill when a guy shouldn't be in the weight class. Like Staropoli should be at 170. He doesn't look like he should be at 185.
Right.
So maybe the physical advantages that Pickett has could outweigh the skill advantages that Staropoli has. If Pickett goes and uses his wrestling. If he uses wrestling, he should win rather easily as long as he's able to keep him down there, which he should be able to do. Because Staropoli gets taken down like it's nobody's business. Very easy to take him down, especially at 185. He's not as strong as these guys at 185. He's not as strong as Pickett. There's just no way. Pickett's much bigger than him, much stronger than him. And if he goes in there and actually uses grappling, I think he could probably get this win out. He's not going to get submission. That's not what he does. But, he should be able to take him down and control him.
Yeah. I think Staropoli's going to come in and say, I tear him down like a white picket fence, it's probably what Staropoli is going to say. I break you. No, right? If he dies, he dies. Anyway, those are
well, I mean, he is from Argentina, so I don't think he's going to talk like that.
Well, if he wanted to do an impression of Drago from, I don't know, Staropoli, okay, I just thought he was Russian. I don't know why. It's stupid. But anyway, man, I'm really doing the dad. I'm creating the amazing jackass moment in history, I think, on this episode, but I hope some of you enjoy it. Anyway, Argentina. Okay, man. Yeah, this is another hard fight.
Yeah, I'm not betting it either. So.
Yeah, I would. This is again caramel popcorn and Mountain Dew.
I think this is another under the radar type of fight too. I think these guys are gonna come in there, they're gonna bang it out. But that's if Pickett can't get takedowns. If he can't get takedowns, I think Staropoli could possibly end his life.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, one of the reasons why Staropoli's last name has the word star in it is when he hits people, they see stars.
That was a good one.
Thank you. He hits hard, and and his whole thought is, if he can, he'll drop the Staropoli right on your head, and you'll be
right on it, just like bam, the people's elbow.
Staropoli dropped, bang, hammer drops, and the hammer of Staropoli is what this man is offering to drop on you if you're not careful. Continue on while I see. Right. I'm going to have to plug this in, so I'm going to get a different seat because I don't like the fact that it showed, with a low battery. So continue, Garrett Kerman, wise fight analyst. What is this? All
right, moving on. In the strawweight division, we have a fight between Tabitha Ricci and Maria Oliveira. Right now, Ricci is a minus 240 favorite, and the comeback on Oliveira is a plus 198 underdog. What do you got?
What happened? Are we back?
No, we're good. I hear you.
Okay. All right, continue. Tabitha Ricci, everyone's favorite Instagram model.
Yeah, taking on Maria Oliveira. Right now, Ricci's a minus 240 favorite, and the comeback on Oliveira is a plus 198 underdog.
Absolutely. Man, these glasses. I think I'm wearing the wrong glasses here. I don't know about that fight. How can I say this? When back in the old days, they had several actors that were good looking but really sucked, in the movies in the 80s and 90s. And people wondered what they were doing there. And they found out that those guys were actually given large roles in movies when people knew they sucked to make Tom Cruise look like he had talent. So that was kind of something else. And I'll tell you how we relate to that. And God love you, Tom Cruise. You finally do have some talent, but it only took 35 years of acting to get there. Anyway, in this fight, Tabitha Ricci is how would you say, a low-key talented MMA fighter. And the person she is facing here, she should easily beat. So what does that kind of add up to as far as that person? I don't know. This is just my thought. I'm probably full of crap on this one, but this is the intel I got from some very inside sources that I have in this industry. And I'm not trying to get hated by female MMA fighters because I have mad respect for you guys, but I just blew that, I guess. Oh, well. Anyway, continue, Garrett Kerman, with your thoughts, but my thoughts are Tabitha Ricci all day, all night here.
Yeah, I expect the same. This is a fight where they're trying to make Ricci look good, in her rightful weight class. They're giving her kind of a layup. Oliveira, I know she's fought some decent competition outside of the UFC, but, I mean, she's still, even though she's taller than Ricci, she's definitely skinnier. She doesn't have as much muscle. I think Ricci should be able to get this to the mat and, do what she does best. Do the work on the mat. Get some ground and pound, maybe a submission. She's a judoka black belt, if I'm not mistaken. She's very good in the grappling realm. Much like a Lupi Godinez type of fighter. And she has a really big following. The UFC wants people to back her. They're giving her a fight where she should win. And especially after, she was 5-0, she was willing to put her undefeated record on the line to get in the UFC up a weight class against Mana Farrow. She got absolutely obliterated, obviously, because she's already small as it is, and then she's going against one of the bigger 125ers who's an absolute savage.
Yeah, that was
so
bad.
No fault there. So now they're giving her somebody who she could be, who she could, win against, she could showcase her skills against. So
yes.
I do believe she wins. I don't like her price, unfortunately, but I feel like she could probably win inside the distance. Taking her inside the distance, you would get it at plus 140. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think Tabitha Ricci is going to look like Valentina Shevchenko in this fight.
She probably will. She'll probably look like she's like a minus 1,000 favorite at the end of the day.
I think so.
All right, moving on. We got a fight in the lightweight division between David Onama, UFC debuter, and Mason Jones. Right now, Mason Jones is a minus 450 favorite, and comeback on Onama is a plus 350 underdog. What do you got?
I think in this case, with these two guys, you could go in place of either of them. People wouldn't know the difference.
Everybody knows Mason. After Mason Jones's UFC debut against Mike Davis, everybody knows who Mason Jones is.
That must have been in what they call an alternate dark match before the prelims started, because I don't remember that.
That was an insane fight. You have to go watch it. Like, insane. His UFC debut was against Mike Davis, and they went to war. Nice. Like insane war. Like, you have to go back on UFC Fight Pass and watch it. Insane fight. I knew Mason Jones before that. Anyways, he was a double champion over at Cage Warriors, 155 and 170. He was a champ in both weight classes. He's a savage. The dude's just straight up savage.
I hate to say it, but with that information, for some reason, I've got to pick against Mason Jones.
Because he was a double champ in Cage Warriors?
Sometimes the British guys with that upright style, lack of wrestling, and extreme cockiness. Although I love my British friends, for some reason I think it's going to
It's from
be
Wales.
from Wales. Well, that could be different. Is it Swansea, Wales? It's very important if it's
I
Swansea.
mean, he's where Jack Shore is from. He's where Brett Johns is from. I don't think like the same city, but
Who's the other guy he's fighting? Melvin Edwards.
He's facing David Onama, a product of Glory MMA and Fitness. UFC.
Oh, that's why, man. I love James Cross and those dudes there, man. Midwest.
Oh no,
power.
don't get me wrong. This kid's a stud. He should be in the UFC. But
Yeah.
normally this dude's winning, inside the distance knockouts or submissions, but he's going against a savage. This type of fight is basically the same type of fight that Mason Jones took on short notice to face Mike Davis in his debut. It's literally the same thing. These guys are going to go in there, they're going to throw down, and whoever's left standing is going to get the dub. That's how it's happening.
I believe it. But one thing I can say is I know this guy Felix Onami like the back of my hand. And what the hell is this guy's name again?
David Onama.
David Onama. There we go. Felix.
We have a question from Bruce Bobtrotter. He's asking, so Costa versus Vettori doesn't count toward the middleweight rankings, right?
Yeah, we can discuss that, but what I want to know from Bruce is what does this have to do with Felix Onami?
He's just asking a question.
Oh, that's right. No, we're gonna get right back to that, Frederick. But the important thing is that I am going with David Onama. Garrett, you say who you got? Mason Jones.
I got Mason Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if Onama gets the dub, gets a knockout. No.
Yeah, it's gonna be a competitive fight.
My money's on Mason Jones to get his UFC debut win, and David Onama actually showcases his skills, gets another callback, which he will obviously, and get a more favorable fight, one that he will win, and impress us.
All right, now I question to you. We have that question from Norman.
We can talk about it now. Let's talk about it now.
Should we talk about it now? Okay.
Yeah.
What did Norman ask again? Can you bring his
Bruce Bobtrotter is asking, would this fight between Costa and Vettori, count toward the middleweight rankings?
That's okay. So I like that Bruce Globetrotter asks about the rankings. I feel like I'm high or something today. I don't know. It's just because I don't have my reference sites to be able to look at, so I'm being just like dumber than ever. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna try to make the save here. I hope it made some people laugh. Bruce Bob Trotter. I will say this. That is a very good question. I'll start on that, Garrett, if you don't mind. It shouldn't count in the rankings. It's a light heavyweight fight.
I feel it should though. Only one half, right?
Yeah. Only one half? Which half?
You mean half.
One guy for the Vettori,
right.
Because it is a really good question though, Bruce. That really is honestly a good question because these guys are middleweights. They're both top 10 contenders in the middleweight division. So technically, you could say even if they fought at heavyweight, it would be a fight between both of them. But it is a really good question because I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say that there maybe should not be as much merit given to this fight as if it were a middleweight fight. But I think you're right, Garrett. I think there will be. Yeah, I think there's going to probably there will be. Although in all honesty, I think if Vettori loses, they probably should really kind of minimize the ramifications of that because of the fact that he was given 2 days notice that this fight was going to be not at middleweight, and then 1 day's notice that this fight is going to be at light heavyweight. So I think if Vettori wins, they should probably give some and I think maybe will give a lot of credence to Vettori and a lot of momentum to him. But I think not if Costa wins, in my opinion. All respect to Costa. I've interviewed him personally a couple of times. He's a really nice guy. It's just unfortunate how this went down. I'm curious to see what the fight analyst says. I'm going to switch back now that I've got some charge on my phone. Go ahead, Garrett. Tell us how you feel about that one.
No, with this fight, I'm pretty sure, if Vettori gets the W, obviously he's moving up ahead of Costa in the rankings. They're both top 5. And win or lose, I expect Costa to have to go up to light heavyweight. Regardless,
that is an interesting question.
Regardless, right. He's going up to light heavyweight. Just because they're like, they're gonna be like, we're not playing this game no more. We're not letting you, tug us by the balls and and really blackball us to have a main event, and you just pull the shit again. So they're probably gonna make him be at 205. He's gonna have to go up. And he doesn't have the physical advantages that he does at 205, that he does at 185. So we'll see how he does in his new weight class after this fight. But win or lose, that man's definitely going up to 205.
Yeah, so, that you would think.
I'm almost certain. I mean, there's no possible way the UFC could be like, oh yeah, you could totally still fight at 105, 185, even though you completely came in, over 20 pounds heavier just 2 days out, and you made us go to 205. I don't see that happening.
You really could be right, and probably you should be right.
Yeah, unless the UFC is like, I don't give a fuck, but it's the UFC. All right, moving on. Next up, we have a fight in the middleweight division between Gregory Rodriguez and Young Park. Right now, Rodriguez is a minus 124 favorite, and the comeback on Park is a plus 106 underdog. Who do you got?
Are these guys on the main card?
They are not on the main card. They are the featured bout on the preliminary card.
I mean, why would that be? I just don't understand.
They should be on the main card. At least opening
the main card.
It should be opening on the main card.
Right, not featured. Right, I agree. Either that or lower.
Because this is also a very good fight.
Okay, what are the odds again, Garrett?
It's almost a pick'em. You got Rodriguez as a minus 124 favorite, and Park as a plus 106 underdog.
Can you tell me about both guys' last 3 fights and their ages?
Park, I believe he's won his last 3. He's beaten Tafon, John Phillips, and Marc-Andre Barrios. And he's also lost to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez on his UFC debut. So he's 3-1. This is only Rodriguez's second fight in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. He's beaten Dusko Todorovic on his short notice fight, cashed in as an underdog. His last fight. He's beaten Josh Fremd in LFA to capture the middleweight championship. And he's also beaten Contender Series alum Al Mataveo.
Okay. And which fighter is that?
Al Mataveo, he was
the guy that's fighting tonight.
John Park and Gregory Rodriguez.
Okay, that was
Rodriguez.
Yeah. Rodriguez. Okay. And then what's Park done?
He's won his last 3. He's beaten John Phillips. He's beaten Tafon, and he's beaten Marc-Andre Barrios. He's 3-1. He's lost to Anthony Hernandez.
Yeah, this is really hard for me to call. I really don't know these guys that well. This is a tough fight. I mean, the Park is a Korean fighter, I'm pretty sure, and they are really looking good lately. A lot of Korean fighters are killing it. I've got several Korean friends and just really passionate, intelligent, disciplined guys. And so I would imagine Park is that guy. But Rodriguez, this is a rough fight, man. Yeah, I don't know these guys well enough, but I think the odds makers probably have it right. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, but I don't think betting on that one. I think that's another caramel popcorn and Mountain Dew, fight without any wagering going on.
I'm actually pretty confident in Rodriguez here. I got him at plus 105 on Monday. He's got some pretty big physical advantages. He's 5 inches taller with a 2-inch reach advantage. He looks like a light heavyweight while Park looks like a middleweight. I mean, RoboCop is jacked. Yes, his nickname is RoboCop. He's huge. He's got some really good power. He beat Dusko Todorovic in his own game in striking, so he can strike. But his bread and butter is his grappling. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Trains over at Team, Sanford, down here in South Florida. Trains with numerous D1 All-American athletes in wrestling. He trains with numerous Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champions. So he's very well versed in the grappling. Then you got Park. On the other hand, he's looked really good in his 3 wins, but he's going against guys that are not good with their takedown defense. You talk about Stefan, and you talk about John Phillips. Those 2 guys not great with their defensive grappling skills, especially Stefan, who's he's really a light heavyweight. So cutting all that weight really did a disservice to him. He didn't feel too strong because his cardio was just zapped at 185. And then you have John Phillips, who can't defend a takedown whatsoever, at all. But then when you go against guys he went against Anthony Hernandez, who was able to actually take him down, and he got the Anaconda choke in round 2. I do believe Rodriguez will be the one initiate the grappling. I do believe Rodriguez will be the one getting the takedowns, and I do believe Rodriguez could put him away on the mat and get a submission here. He's very, very good on the mat. Like I said, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's huge. The dude is huge. He's got 4 wins by submission, 4 wins by knockout, so he's very well versed in both sides. And even if you want to put a crazy prop together, you could take Rodriguez by submission at whenever it decides to load. Where the hell is it? Hold on. I'm gonna get there.
While you're waiting, you're definitely starting to convince me of Rodriguez. I still think Park is a tough guy though. So
he is, but I don't. He's not gonna have the grappling advantages that he had in his last 2 fights. He's just
right.
not.
I think he's gonna be at a grappling disadvantage, clearly. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and the way Park wins his fight is he's grinding against his opponent. He's taking him down. He's just doing more than his opponent. He's wearing them out. Tefan was extremely gassed by midway second fight, and Phillips just couldn't get his ass off the mat. I think he had 12 takedowns or something crazy like that against Phillips. I remember that. No, he got a couple hundred strikes against Phillips, just laying on top of it and just beating his ass on the mat. It was something crazy like that. But Rodriguez by submission is plus 750. That's crazy.
Interesting.
That's a good prop.
Yeah, I think so. I like that. Now, the more I absorb what you're saying, this really seems like it's got.
And the line moved exactly where I thought it would. I envisioned it moving to Rodriguez as being a favorite. I was able to let my people know, my clients know Monday, go bet Rodriguez at plus 105, and they got it in. So I'm happy there.
Right.
I just didn't think you'd be able to. Yeah.
Right. I got a half a unit Rodriguez. You've convinced me. I like Rodriguez. I think though, but I don't know enough to go heavier than that. How confident are you on from a 1 to 10 scale? Would you say though in that?
Well, I have 2 units on. Rodriguez.
Okay, so it's up there.
Yeah. It's a pretty. I'm pretty confident in his abilities. I've been confident in him. Since his stint on the Contender Series. I know it wasn't his night. He got knocked out by Jordan Williams. It happens, but he came back stronger, and he's looked great ever since moving to Sanford MMA. So I think, training there with Henry Hoof,
yes.
Greg Jones, and all of them has really helped his game a lot.
Well, those guys over where you are swimming in the Everglades.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll see Rodriguez swim in the Everglades sometime.
I think so, because you're there at least twice a month. So at that point, you're going to see some of those guys there, because I know they're there for a fact. So it's, you'll run it. You just tell me when you do, though, because I might want to go get some media photo ops of those dudes over there.
I got you. All right. Moving on. We have our first fight on the main card. Opening up the main card is a fight between Nick Nagumarano.
Yeah, Negromorano.
Nagumarano. Okay, we're going Nick. Okay, we got Nick going against Ike Villanueva. And And Nikolai, it's either Nick or Nikolai. I don't freaking know. He's minus 235, and Villanueva is a plus 194 underdog. You got?
Yeah, I'm all over Negro Morano in that fight. I really am. I think that Ike is a tough guy, but once again, like his fights in the UFC, you could say make him look low key talented at best. And I just think that Nick has a ceiling a little higher
He
than
does.
that. I really do, yeah. And where's he from again? And what's his last couple fights?
He's 10-1. He won his last fight against Alexa Kamer.
Okay, there we go. That
And
was
he,
his debut,
and he
right?
lost his fight against his debut fight was against Safarov, where he lost back in 2019.
And then he beat Kamer, and that's it. So he's 1-1 in the UFC. And
Correct.
Kamer's tough. Kamer's a tough dude. You know. So the only difference between Alexa Kamer and the Alexa software is if you say, "Hey Alexa, turn off my vacuum cleaner," one of them will like punch you in the face, and the other one will turn off your vacuum cleaner. So just don't be asking Alexa Kamer to turn off your different shit, by saying, "Hey Alexa," if he's around. He told me to tell us everyone that. Anyway, so I do think though Nick Negro Moreno, I think this looks like a double tough dude. I like him. What are the odds? He's
minus 230. Yeah, minus 235 and plus 194.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Something, I don't know. I feel like my boy Villanueva has some injuries, man. I mean, I'm an old guy. I've never been a pro fighter, but I've trained karate, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, over the last 3 decades, and I'm like fucking smashed. My joints are in pain. My neck is in pain. My back is in pain. And I never even put in like the time that these guys put in. But sometimes I can recognize that in some of these guys just looking like they're in pain. And it looks to me like Villanueva just looks like he's in pain a lot. And I hope I'm wrong. I don't want anyone to be hurting a lot, especially the guys in his 30s and not even that old. But how old is he? Isn't he like 34, something like that, Villanueva?
Yeah, he's 37.
Yeah, see, I just got a feeling the dude's hurting. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some really damaged joints or lower back or something, man. I just get a feeling the dude's hurting, and it's tough because this is one thing, like, for those of you young guys that are watching, like, us older dudes, we can smash people as long as we're not having to take too much damage en route to it. That's why older guys can win in street fights. But if you go up against your dad or your uncle and you say, "Let me throw some kicks at your ribs and at your legs and let me slam you to the ground," that's not good for an older guy. Because you start, your body just doesn't recover that quick. And if you've got old injuries and you take some serious impact, it can just mess you up. And so, I just get a feeling he's hurting. I don't know. I think that it may be near the end for Villanueva. So yeah, I got Nick Negro Moreno all day. Probably 2 units. Although it's not going to make you much money, but probably a couple units on laying the chalk on that. I think he's got that fight.
Yeah, I think he wins too. I just haven't been sold on Ike Villanueva. I would never bet on Ike at all. His only win is Vinicius Moreira, and Moreira is not in the UFC, and for good reason because he gets knocked out all the time.
Yeah.
I think this might be the last time we see Ike in the UFC. I think Nick gets it done, probably short order fashion, and that's that. I don't have much to say because I'm not been in this fight. I don't want anything to do with this fight. Probably won't even watch this fight, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be a slow.
Popcorn.
Yeah. No. I'll get my popcorn and Mountain Dew, not to watch the fight though, just to have it.
Just the hell of it, exactly, right?
All right, we're moving on to the welterweight division between Dwight Grant and Francisco Trinaldo. Right now, Trinaldo's a minus 130 favorite, and the comeback on Grant is a plus 110 underdog. What do you got?
And isn't there like a 10-year age difference here?
6.
6.
And no less. Grant is still almost 40 years old.
So Trinaldo's what, 43?
Yeah.
And Grant's is 37?
Yep.
And then Grant's got, what, a 2-inch height advantage? 3-inch?
He's got 4-inch height advantage. I think he's got like 5 or 6 inches in reach as well.
Right. And this is 170, and Trinaldo is almost like a lifelong 55er.
Right. But he doesn't look – he just looks short. He doesn't look small.
Right. No, he doesn't. He's thick. He was killing himself to make 55. What are the odds again? Slight favorite for Trinaldo?
Slight favorite for Trinaldo and Dwight Grant's slight underdog. I think Trinaldo is actually like he's 11-1 as an underdog.
Yeah, I believe it. But what has gone on in both of their last 3 fights? Remind me. I can't since I don't have access.
Well, Grant, I believe, lost like a lot. Grant just has not looked good in the UFC whatsoever.
No,
he's actually surprisingly he's 3-1 in his last 4. His only loss was his knockout loss to Daniel Rodriguez. And mind you, he dropped D-Rod in that fight.
That's true.
But 2 of his 3 wins are split decision wins against Alan Jouban and Stefan Sukulic, who's not even in the UFC.
Right, and I felt Jouban beat him, and so did Alan. Alan was furious for the referee, I think, after that fight.
Yeah.
Man, but dude, you know what though?
This man went to 3 decisions in the UFC, right? All 3 split decisions.
Yeah. But I know what all the young dudes are saying. Don't bet on a guy 40 years old unless there's this huge criteria, blah, blah, blah.
Fuck that. Here's what you do. You fade the fuck out of Dwight Grant.
Yes, I like that. I'm glad.
I don't go fuck. I mean, Trinaldo is a warrior. He's fought the who's who. I know it's at 155. I know he gets up the height and reach advantage. I get all that. But the man is tough as nails. He hung in there against Muslim Salikov. He took a round off Salikov as well, who's way better than Dwight Grant.
Yeah.
I mean, and Dwight Grant does not look good. And he fights at AKA and it has 0 grappling to his resume.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
No, although he may have some now, although I don't know. It's not that
he's been training at AKA for a minute and he doesn't grapple.
Yeah, that's weird. It's but it's hard to pick up that skill set. That's the truth. I think that I think Trinaldo felt that the only reason he lost that Muslim Salikov fight was the Muslim fighters are very popular nowadays in the UFC because they're very talented. So he's talking about maybe going into this fight being billed as Francisco Muslim Trinaldo. And I think I don't know if that's going to sway the judges. It has to come with talent. You have to have the talent that these Muslim fighters have. Anyway, I think that was fucking.
I don't even know if Salikov is Muslim. By the way, I think that's just his name.
Actually, you know what, man? I'll tell you this: he has to be. He has to be. I don't believe that. First of all, a lot of these Muslim fighters have OV at the end of their name. Well, a lot of Russian Muslim fighters do. And second of all, I really could be wrong, but I just do not think your first name is going to be Muslim and you're not Muslim. It would be interesting to see, but my bet is that he is. It doesn't matter. You're Muslim, you're great.
It doesn't matter.
You're Christian, you're great. You're Jewish, you're great. You're Buddhist, you're great. It's all what's in your heart, as we all know.
It's all gravy, right? It's all gravy.
It's all great. Exactly. As a buddy of mine, what did a buddy of mine's friend used to say? It's all biscuits and gravy. Yeah. Jerry, if you're watching. Anyway, I think that you're right. I think that Trinaldo wins this fight. I'm only feeling it like a half a unit, though.
Yeah, I'm not going crazy. To win 1 unit, not bad.
Yeah, it's right. Exactly. It's gonna be a good fight, though.
And I'm not going against the trends here. You're talking about Trinaldo's 11-1 as a favorite.
I agree. Well, I thought you said he was 11-1 as an underdog.
No, I meant he's 11-1 as a favorite. My bad.
Makes sense. And I agree. And not only that, but as a guy over 40 myself, I don't like to subscribe to the philosophy of never betting a guy over 40. So I'm with you. Yeah, I'm glad you see it as a young guy. And yeah, I think Trinaldo. But like I said, this is probably going to be a close fight. At some point, Trinaldo's going to lose a step or his joints are going to be even more worn out. That's one of the sad things. Father Time is undefeated, and at some point, me and the fight analyst will be able to beat Garrett. Would be able to beat Trinaldo. Actually, that wouldn't make sense for me when I'm older than Trinaldo. At some point, my boy Garrett is going to be able to beat Francisco Trinaldo when Trinaldo's body is completely worn out. But anyway, yeah, we're both with him. Trinaldo, light, low key bet on this one, I would say.
Yes, sir. All right, moving on to the featherweight division. We have a fight between Seungwoo Choi and Alex Caceres. Right now, Choi's a minus 295 favorite, and the comeback on Caceres is a plus 240 underdog. Who do you got?
Can you tell me the last 3 fights of both and when they were?
Seungwoo Choi, he just knocked out Julian Erosa in the first round in his last fight. Before that, he beat Yusuf Zalal. Before that, he beat Suman Mokhtarian. So he's on a 3-fight winning streak.
Is he Team Alpha Male?
No, he's over in China. No, that's
I know that's Song Yudong.
Yeah, Song Yudong. There you go.
All right, Seungwoo Choi, okay, over in China.
And Alex Caceres, he's on a 4-fight winning streak. He's beaten Kevin Kroom, Austin Springer, Chase Hooper, and Steven Peterson.
When was his last win? About a year ago, his last fight?
In February.
And what's the
of
age
this
difference?
year?
What's the age difference?
33 and 28. Caceres is 33.
Yeah. I like Alex Caceres. He's a cool dude. It's funny because he has this playful thing with the Kung Fu stance and the Bruce Leroy, which for a lot of you that don't know where he got that, it was from a movie in the 80s, the only martial arts movie produced by Motown out of Detroit, Barry Gordy, who was a music producer of huge note. And he produced one martial arts film, Barry Gordy's Last Dragon, in I think 1985 or 6. And one of the main villains was, the main hero was called Bruce Leroy. Anyway, so the thing with Alex Caceres and that Bruce Leroy image and usually the big hair and getting in the karate stance is that it's like people laugh and this and they think he's a goofball. I mean, it really isn't about that. He loves martial arts. Like the dude loves martial arts. He may have watched that movie and repeats or whatever when he was a kid, when it came on TV or whatever. But the bottom line is the dude's a martial artist. He loves martial arts. He respects martial arts. He believes in this as martial arts. He's never, I don't think, talked trash on fighters. He's never been disrespectful. And he's an upbeat guy, but he's a pretty serious, intelligent dude. I've interviewed him a couple of times after events, and he's not a joke. He's not putting this on to be a clown. He really just is an upbeat guy who believes in martial arts and honor and loves what he's doing and loves to be able to represent and perform with martial arts, which is his passion. Anyway, whether that matters or not in this fight, I wanted to throw that out there because he's a respectable dude. He really is. He's up against it here, and he's such a good, talented, experienced guy, man. And they matched him up so hard. He's gone up against all kinds of killers. He's getting a little bit older. I mean, this is a hard ask for Alex Caceres. I don't think he's going to get completely smashed, but this is freaking a tough one. Choi just seems really, really good. But then again, Chinese fighters have won about 33% of their fights during the pandemic. I don't know if you know that. Very few Chinese fighters are winning.
Well, he won during the pandemic, so he must be good.
He did, yeah. But I guess this is him we're talking about here. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I what is it? Minus 260? You said minus 280.
Minus 295.
Yeah, no, forget that. I don't want to lay that chalk. He's probably going to win. I would put like a quarter of a unit on Caceres. He does have a chance. He's probably not going. I mean, it's like
I don't know how he would possibly win this fight. To be honest with you,
I mean, he'd have to.
He's literally not better anyway.
Right. He'd have to just use a lot of veteran shit. He'd have to come up with some kung fu master ninja shit. You know, But who better to come up with that than Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres? Like they used to say in the commercials like 10 years ago, it's got to be the hair, right? So something is going on. He's got the hair back after not having it for about 2 years, and that I don't know. I think he's not going to get wiped out. He might, but I don't think he is. I don't know. I want him to win. He's a super cool dude. He's a super underestimated dude who's just fought all tough guys. By the guys they've matched him against, it almost seems like they've been trying to get rid of him for years, and they can't. You can't get rid of Bruce Leroy, but this is a tough
No,
ask.
you cannot.
No, I'll be cheering for him, but it's a tough ask. I mean, are you like wanting to lay that chalk for any big 2-3 units or anything with the other guy?
No, but he's a parlayable piece because he's definitely winning this fight. He's not losing to Alex Caceres. It's
Do you
just
think
not
by
happening.
decision or you think by stoppage?
I think he wins by decision. I think Caceres is tough enough to to not get stopped. He's got a pretty good chin for the most part, and
Yeah.
we know Troy is just gonna go in there. He's gonna throw some hands. He's not looking to get a submission. So, but Troy has good enough defensive wrestling. He's much bigger. He's much stronger. To keep this fight on the feet, where he has a massive striking advantage. We saw that in his last fight against Julian Rosa, but I know it's a Rosa. He's chinny. I get it, but he does got some good power. We saw in his previous fights, even against Gavin Tucker. Gavin Tucker had a results in taking him down numerous times. We saw him put the pressure on Zalal, putting in some work against Mokhtarian as well. Troy's a real deal. I think he's a really good prospect in the 145-pound division as well. So I do have him winning here, and I have him, just keep moving forward and just trying to finally crack the top 15. But it's going to be a good win here, making it number 4 in a row. And
it could be. Isn't he a blonde now?
He's I don't know if it's like silver or blonde. I don't know what the fuck it is now.
I think he's trying to prove that blondes have more fun, and it may happen here, but Bruce Leroy's going to try to interrupt that, but we'll see. He's a badass though. He's a charismatic. He's a charismatic dude, Troy, for sure.
All right, moving on. We got a fight in the women's bantamweight division between Jessica Rose Clark, Jessie Jess, and Jocelyn Edwards. Right now, Clark is a minus 174 favorite, and the comeback on Edwards is a plus 146 underdog. Who do you got?
So this is an interesting fight. Are either of them short notice?
No. I think they've had enough notice.
So the taller girl that may be a little bit better striker is Edwards, and the stronger girl for sure is Clark. She's doing some work with my boy Justin Adams, and I think she's really come into her own. It's interesting because just for a while she was in the higher weight class at bantamweight, because this is a flyweight fight, right?
No, this is a bantamweight fight.
This is a bantamweight fight. So she did try to go down to flyweight, I think.
She did,
but it was really hard cut for her. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but early on, it just seems like she didn't have her focus. Her comfort level in the UFC wasn't great. I think she was in some short notice fights and some fights where she was cutting weight like crazy. She just, in the weigh-ins, she would not usually look that good, and she just didn't seem to have like a lot of shit together. Like she wasn't like emoting a lot of energy and charisma, and now she is. I mean, the weigh-ins, she just looked great. She had a huge smile on her face, super charismatic. She's got her look going now with her tats and her hair and her makeup, and she just looks like super charismatic, cute, sexy chick, and like a really marketable UFC fighter. And the reality is, be that shit as it may, she's got talent and she's tough. I'm liking it though. I'm feeling like she's putting out a lot of positive chi or ki, depending on which part of Asian martial arts you were first trained in, if any, for anybody out there. But chi being the Chinese martial arts and ki for Japanese martial arts. Hawaii would be mana. Anyway, I'm feeling Jessie Jess here. I'm really feeling Jessie Jess. And I feel good about her. And she is just a slight favorite, right? Can you give me those odds again?
She is a minus 174 favorite,
Yeah, I like it.
and Edwards is plus 146 underdog.
Yeah, I like Jesse just for a parlay piece and for like 2 units. And I think it's going to be a tough fight, but she might even stop her. I think she's the better fighter with a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm definitely taking Clark in this fight. I missed the boat. She was a much lower favorite. I think she was minus 120, minus 130 at one point, which was a great line. Don't like the line too much now, but she gets it done. I believe she's the better fighter, arguably everywhere. I think Edwards, beats her on volume, but at the end of the day, Clark hits harder. I think she's got the better diverse striking with her kicks and her punches, and I definitely think she has a massive advantage in the clinch and in the grappling department. So as long as her knee doesn't hinder her movement at all, because she is coming off a ACL tear after the beat down she gave to Sarah Alper. By the way, Edwards lost to Sarah Alper on the regional scene by split decision. Just
Interesting.
saying.
Interesting.
Um, but yeah, I got Clark getting it done here. I got her winning, and I got her cash and bets for us. I think we're still getting a decent line. As long as it's under minus 200, she's definitely wageable for sure.
Absolutely. I love the Australian fighters too. The Australian and New Zealand fighters are just looking great the last several years. I hope she walks into that song, that old song, "I Come From a Land Down Under." I love that. Whenever the Aussie fighters come into that, you can just picture them somewhere out in the some rainforest area, like dancing around and like that with all the koala bears around and shit. And I just love it, man. They're just fun loving people. I would love to be in Australia, man. Maybe when I get old, someone can who either I'll be rich or someone who's rich can relocate me to Australia. I
There
can
you
work
go.
on my accent there, mate. When I say, all right, mate, got to go with all the Aussies here, of course. So I'm going for the Aussie. Jessica Rose Clark in this fight. Jesse just for the win.
I like it. Jess for the win. my man says my man Simon. He's like, the outback. I think you mean not the rainforest.
There we go. The Outback. That was it. That's it. But I don't know that I want to live in the Outback, man. You guys got to look up an old movie from the '80s called Hard Knuckle. I think it was, man. Man, that made the Outback look like a hellacious place to live. People like playing billiards to cut off your fingers if you lose, and fires
Yeah,
instead of like
I don't think
street
that's going
lights.
on out there. I don't
I
think
hope
so.
not, man. In the '80s, I think it probably was.
All right,
Anyway,
moving on to our co-main event of the evening. We have a fight at 155 pounds between Grant Dawson and Ricky Glenn. And
man,
right now, Dawson's a minus 390 favorite, and the comeback on Glenn's plus 310 underdog. Who do you got?
wow. Grant Dawson is tough. He's one of those tough young guys, Garrett, that I think you might even have a hard time beating in an
I'm pretty
MMA.
sure he'd kick my ass.
Well, I don't know. You can't. You don't want to. You have great talent that is undiscovered.
Nope.
No,
Can't
you don't
say
think so?
can't say that for sure.
I see. Well, those alligators in the Everglades believe it, though. You beat their asses on the daily, man. Don't deny it. Anyway, I think that this is a tough fight. This Grant Dawson is a beast
Yeah, he is.
over there at Glory MMA with James Krause. Glenn is a rugged, tough dude, though, man. I don't know. What is the age difference? Like 10 years here?
Yeah, something crazy like that. I gotta look, but give me a second. No, actually, it's only 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Ricky Glenn looks like he's about 40 years old, but he's only 32.
Yeah, he's a rugged, tough dude, though. He's got some wrestling. He's taller and lankier, I think, here. But, yeah, this is a tough ask. I don't know. Glenn is like a decent dude. What camp is he with? Does it say?
Oh, shit. Let me see.
Was it Alpha Male or no?
No, I don't think it's Alpha Male. Pura Vida, BJJ, and MMA.
Oh, yeah, Pure Vida. Pure life, right? They live in the pure life. yeah, I don't know. Glenn had a couple years away from the sport and came back, and I don't think
He had a nice win in his last fight
against who.
against Joaquin Silva.
Okay, all right. I mean, Glenn is not going to be. He's not going to make it easy. I don't think he gets just like immediately taken out quickly. Although I guess some people will. I mean, like I think the wrong bet is Glenn. Sorry, is Dawson stoppage in the first round. I think that's the wrong bet. But I do think that that Dawson wins, but I don't know. I don't like those odds. A parlay piece, I think. Although weird shit can happen, and this is one of those fights that like it almost seems like MMA betting is really really hard. What we're doing and doing it well, especially you with your great gambling advice and tips, is really hard to do. This is probably the hardest handicapping of any sport, and I've
Yeah,
been
for sure.
handicapping, and I've been doing sports gambling for about 30 years, and MMA is probably the hardest. I've done football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and boxing, and this is just tough. MMA is you just don't know. So probably probably Dawson, but I think it goes over 1.5, and I think I just don't want to lay that chalk. That's me though. What do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight. I don't think the line is definitely correct. I don't think Dawson should be a minus 390 favorite. I don't think Glenn should be a 3-1 dog. So there is value on Glenn, even though I do think Dawson wins. I think the right side is to throw a little bit on Glenn. Glenn's tough. I know he gets taken down, but like Dawson, if if he's gotta go to that dark place towards the end of the fight. I don't know if he could do that against Ricky Glenn. Glenn is he's a tough dude. He's durable. He can go in there for 15 minutes and slug it out for you. But if Dawson if he slows down towards the end of this fight, Glenn could take over. Glenn could finish him. That's my only worry. I just threw Dawson in one parlay, but nothing too crazy. Even though there is a possibility he could lose.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why it's not showing me on the video here
You had,
anymore.
yeah, you kind of have to push your camera, make sure it's kind of on. Start camera.
Let me see. I did that. Cam, mic, and there's the camera, and I should be there. I'm just gonna hit refresh. Sorry about this, guys. Let me see.
No, you're good. You're good. He will be back very, very shortly, everybody. Or the one person that's looking at this right now, and I know who that is. And I appreciate you staying with us, Mr. Simon Banks. And there's the MMA professor himself back with us.
Thank you, man. Try to teach an old dog new tricks, and I don't always learn them as quick as I need to. But thank you for not being too upset about there, Garrett Kerman. You're a good
You're
friend.
good. You're good. Let's just keep the ball rolling. Let's get to this main event. Let's talk about it. We got Marvin Vettori and Paulo Costa taking on each other at 205 pounds. You read that correctly. You heard that correctly. They're fighting at light heavyweight. This fight was contracted at 185 pounds. But now, after the debacle, after Paulo Costa coming in, not cutting weight, saying, I can't make it, we are now here on the eve of the fight, fighting at 205 pounds. Right now, Marvin Vettori is a minus 184 favorite. And to come back on Paulo Costa is a plus 154 underdog. Who do you got?
Gotcha. Well, we had that good question earlier from Bob Trotter. I'm sorry. I wanted to, Bob, if you're still there, you got to let us know what you think about this fight, man. Now, because this is insanity. I mean, dude, this couldn't have been scripted more bizarre than this. I've been watching MMA since UFC 1. I've actually watched before UFC 1. A lot of you know, watching the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in action, Vale Tudo tapes 2 years before UFC 1. And so I've been watching MMA for 30 years. And I've never seen anyone come up there and make it a full weight class jump. I mean, you know what? Shit like that has happened where, in fact, a lot of times, a lot of you guys were saying, what the hell is that old guy saying? But frequently a fight ends up being in a higher weight class. Yeah, it does happen, but not on 2 days' notice. Like
And
within
and
three.
and it's not a middleweight to light heavyweight jump either. That's
Right.
the biggest jump
Yes.
there is.
You're right. I've never seen. And there may have been times where two middleweights have fought at light heavyweight. If so, it's very rare and maybe never. But if it has happened in the UFC, it's either never or once or twice. But it was absolutely agreed upon by both fighters right up front. For there to be a fight that was made like 6 or 8 weeks ago or more, a full camp, and then with 2 days' notice, one guy jumps in there, and I mean, just it's funny to me because like both are good dudes. I've talked to both guys. I've had a few interviews face to face with Costa, and I haven't had any with Vettori, but I've chatted with him, and he was very polite, dude. Just it's kind of funny because Costa came in there basically, and I like it because Costa is like genuinely, I think, just doing the best he can and letting his trainers and his managers make decisions. And I don't know if he had some injury or something, but I like how Costa's interviews were very relaxed. Mind you, this is his second language. I think everyone who hears him talk knows that, although he's actually making a lot of good progress. He's a pretty bright dude. He's not a dumb dude, but business and contracts are not his specialty. He's been training to fight since he was a child. And so I like how he came out there and just matter-of-factly was like, he said, I don't know about this fight. He essentially was saying, I don't know what weight this is supposed to be at, but it sure isn't supposed to be at middleweight. And people are like, what? And then he's like, he's like, if Vettori wants to come in at 225 pounds, he can. And he's like, I'm just, I'm not trying to argue with anyone or do anything. And people are like scratching their heads saying, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Your camp and you is asking for a lot of extra weight. And then I think Costa was annoyed. He was like, what the hell? He's like, we could make this. He's like, I'm trying to cooperate. We could make this a lot heavier than middleweight. And Vettori's like, dude, you're not trying to cooperate with anything. You're the guy who's saying he can't make the weight. And Costa's like, I don't know what it is. He's like, something's happening here, but I can't tell what it is. He's like, I don't know why this is happening or who's doing it, but it's definitely not my fault. And it was just really kind of funny. I mean, at least they kind of had fun with it, Vettori and Costa. I like when Costa was talking about how many kilos it was. And Vittori's Italian. He grew up with the kilos, but he's been here for so many years. He even had to think about how many kilos it was.
Like two idiots trying to put in a light bulb.
Oh, man, I'm just saying this. In all honesty, I like Brett Okamoto. He's a good dude. I've been at several events in the media section with him, and he's just like a cool dude. He's good at what he does, but so are we. But I just think I would have loved to have been the moderator for that, man. I think I could have brought some hilarity to that. I think I could have got these guys laughing. I think we could have made it hilarious if I could have been in there as the moderator when Vettori and Costa were talking. Anyway, I wish I would have made the press conference because I'll get along good with that team. Anyway, this is just insanity. To 195 with 2 days left, he basically gets Vettori to agree to 195. And a lot of people are scratching their head a little bit, but then kind of nodding their head, saying, that's cool. That's going to force Costa, who says he's around 211 or 12 pounds, to cut some weight. And it's not going to be that big an advantage. And everyone's going, okay, this is fair enough. And then I was talking to one of our MMA Power Hour correspondents, Francesca Dominique, at night. And I was like, Fran, I don't know. Is he even going to make 95? I don't know. If he's 211 or 212, he didn't grow up in the American wrestling system. Is he going to make 195? I mean, what the hell? And then all of a sudden she looks and she goes, damn, just posted. It's going to be at 205. And I'm like, of course. And so this is all I can say is the Vettori team are studs. I mean, he's with Dominance MMA Management, Ali, one of the top management companies. He's got Coach Rafael Cordero. He's at Kings. He's got so many great guys he trains there. Kings has been killing it lately with Beneil Dariush and Giga Chikadze and several other guys I know I'm forgetting. And what a stud though. But man, that I just wonder if Vettori wasn't 28 years old, if he was a little bit of an older fighter, if he might just have said, you know what, nah, this is not a good look. This is not fair to me to make this at 205. I'm going to pass on that. I don't know. I just, bottom line is, though, he's a stud for taking it. I think a lot of guys wouldn't. Yeah, he came in at 204 and a half. I know a bunch of people are like, what the hell are you talking about? They came in a half-pound difference. I think Vettori probably ate everything he could eat. He ate as much Italian food as possible in the last 2 days to come in at 204. And he's probably going to be 204, 205, or 6 tomorrow. And I think Costa is going to be about 218 or 220 tomorrow. I think this gives Costa an advantage. But this is what I see, Garrett, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Costa says he's going to tell the media after the fight what the hell happened with this weight. And obviously it's going to be regarding some sort of an injury that made cardio not possible. And I'll tell you this, if it really is something crazy, like he has a torn MCL or ACL, although if he did, you would think that would have been picked up with the medicals. So let's just say he has some nasty, nasty lower back strain or neck or something that you can't really see that's necessarily going to stop a fight from being cleared. If some really, really bad shit is going on with him and he's hurt really bad, then for sure you beat him. You, Garrett Kerman, beat him. And I know you're tough and a great fighter, but if you beat him, then Marvin Vettori beats him if he's seriously injured. But if he isn't, then it's just this is not I think Costa wins this fight at 205. At 185, Vettori. At 195, probably Vettori. At 205 with short notice like this, I don't know. Just big love and respect to King's MMA for Marvin Vettori agreeing to this. I don't know. This is a big ask. This is a big ask. He's going to be probably giving away 12 to 15 pounds on fight day.
Oh, for sure.
And I just feel like this. Everyone's saying, well, he'll mix it up on him. He'll mix the takedowns and the punches. Is he a better wrestler than Yoel Romero? I don't think so. But I know a lot of people would say, oh, Yoel was old and he didn't like to wrestle. It makes me nervous. The fact that Yoel 4 years ago couldn't do anything with Costa, although it was a close fight. But the fact that he didn't even really try after his first takedown attempt to take him down anymore. A depleted Costa, maybe Vettori takes him down. A 205 Costa, I'm worried. If Vettori can't get this fight to the ground, he gets pieced up. He may get knocked the fuck out, possibly. But I will say this: I would possibly put a unit on Costa, but I have a weird bet on this one, which is a middle. I'm gonna go over 1.5 rounds and under 4.5 rounds. And I think I'm going to catch a middle on that. I have a strong feeling this fight ends either in the second half of the second round or in the third round or early fourth.
Makes sense.
What are your thoughts? Can't wait to hear.
Well, I know people like to give Costa some flack for acting stupid, on social media. But the man ain't that dumb. Or maybe it was his management that's not that dumb. Because they played the fuck out of the UFC. They played the fuck out of Vettori. They went in knowing that the UFC needs to keep this main event intact.
Yes.
Reason being, because two weekends ago, they lost the main event. Last weekend, they had to schedule somebody else to fill in that main event. And now they have a third main event. They can't lose 3 main events. So, Marvin Vettori's like, I got to fight to get paid because Costa wasn't even going to weigh in. So if you don't weigh in, you don't get paid. Marvin Vettori needs to weigh in to get paid. So, he agreed to whatever weight class that he wanted. And the UFC is like, sure, and we'll cut. We'll give you 20%. Marvin Vettori's like, I don't give a fuck. I just
And that
want
was
to
at
fight.
95. So did you hear anything on what more?
No, I
At
think
90,
it's still 20%.
just 20%.
Yeah, which is nothing. Costa's like, I'll give you 20%. I don't
Yeah.
gotta cut weight. I get all this weight
Yeah.
advantage. I don't have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, they
You're the
should have
one
given him another
you're the
20.
one who's already been cutting weight. You've been
Right.
cutting weight. You now have to eat to get back to the other weight, so to be healthier to face me. I'm gonna be stronger than you. I'm gonna be bigger than you. And he's already got the physical advantages on the feet. He's got the power advantage. He's already got good takedown defense at 80%. I mean, and everybody is just betting Vettori. And I understand where they're coming from. Added
They want
weight.
him. People want him.
They want him to win. Costa's never gone 25 minutes. Vettori's gone 25 minutes multiple times. He probably has a cardio edge, but we really don't know if he has a cardio edge at 205 pounds. Vettori's not going to be able to just stand there and box and strike, so he's going to have to grapple. Well, Vettori's never had to grapple at 205 pounds for 25 minutes against a brute with great takedown defense in Paulo Costa. So I'm expecting Vettori to gas a lot quicker than he normally would at 185 pounds. This is a big advantage for Costa. Very big advantage. And if this was not at 205, I would not be betting on Costa. But now it's at 205, and you're giving me Costa at plus 155. I have to bet it. I have to bet it.
Are you thinking like 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units?
1 unit. It's a 1 unit bet.
Yeah.
But it's a must bet. Like you're giving a guy who is clearly a light heavyweight versus a middleweight fighter, and you're giving him all of the advantage. I'm going with the light heavyweight. I'm going with Costa, who's got the power. He's got the takedown defense. I think he's going to put the pressure on him, and I think he's going to get him out of there. But that all depends on if there's no underlying reason why, he's not making the weight. Or,
right.
We don't know those things. We have to go by what we've seen. He looks healthy. He looks in great shape. He's absolutely massive. He looks like there's nothing wrong with him. And now he gets an unfair advantage against Marvin Vettori. So I got to bet.
Yeah. We're going to know fairly quickly. If all of a sudden he starts limping after the first few seconds in there.
Or he's just not throwing. Or if he's lethargic. Or, just not looking his normal self. Then, we know something's up.
Yeah, so live betting could actually be the thing to do here, possibly.
I would think it's not bad. That's only if Vettori doesn't wipe him out. Just completely dominate him in that first round, though. Because if he does dominate him in that first round, then you're looking at Vettori. He's going to be juiced to the gills in round 2. Something crazy like that.
Right, you have to do it quick. Do you think the UFC cares what happens here? I have a feeling the UFC would rather.
No, they don't give a fuck what happens. They don't care who wins as long as there's a fucking main event on, and it's a good main event. It's not another female main event. They got a banger. These guys are coming. They're gonna bang. It's at 205. They're banging. It's gonna be a good fight.
For sure. And like Costa said, there's more of a chance of a knockout at that weight. And,
I mean, for him,
right.
I don't know about Vettori. Right. I don't see Vettori getting a knockout. He's only got 2 knockouts in his career.
Yeah. It's, it's interesting. Maybe we'll get to see some grappling in the ground. It'd be interesting to see. But, this is just weird. I mean, it's just unfortunate that it went down this way. But I don't know. Costa already decided to become the heel about 3 years ago. And I guess this is enhancing that heel. Now people are really not liking him. And he's a nice kid. He's a nice kid. But this shit isn't too nice. I don't know. Something went wrong. I don't know.
It is what it is. And I feel like it was partial his fault, but also partial his management. But like I said, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Someone somewhere along the line told him, stop cutting weight. And we're just going to do what we got to do to see what they can do. And
I don't know. Maybe one of his trainers thought he was giving him diet Brazilian barbecue, and he dropped it off in his house. But Costa thought he meant go out to the Brazilian barbecue restaurant right nearby. And about 3 weeks went by where the nutritionist was out of town, And when he came in town, he says, "How's everything going with the food I gave you?" And he's like, "What food did you give me? You told me to go to the Brazilian barbecue restaurant every night for dinner, which I've been doing." And then he's like, "No. What if that was the problem?" And it's like, "Oh, his wires crossed, man. I was doing what he told me to do, but it was just the wrong Korean barbecue. He just wanted me to eat this crap he put in my refrigerator, But he didn't realize he doesn't go there that much. He's at his girlfriend's house mostly. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Anyway, that shit's still another. What I do know is that Brazilian barbecue is still sitting in that refrigerator uneaten. If it's diet, that we know.
All right.
Diet Brazilian barbecue?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That's our breakdown. That's UFC Vegas 41 breakdown this week. But before we go, my man, Mr. MMA Professor Colin Crandall, where can everybody follow you at?
MMA Power Hour Tuesdays on Fight TV from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time, and also the Hannibal TV on YouTube. And also, I think we're also going on Facebook. I think we're going on my producer Adam Rorda's channel on YouTube. Sorry for all this bobbling in the screen. I had to plug this into my shoulder.
You're good. Don't worry.
From workout. But anyway, yeah, check us out there. Really appreciate it. We have a great. In fact, I'll for people watching here, I'll give you guys the heads up because we don't usually put it out until a couple of days before the or the same day as the show. But next week we got a great card. We have a great card. We got a great show with 3 great guests. We're going to be talking to Chris Dawkins. We're going to be talking to Derek Brunson.
Wow, great.
And then legendary cutman Stitch Duran.
Nice. That's a great show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And want to say that thank you for the guy chimed in with that thing. I think his name was Bob Trotter, so you can call me Colin Globetrotter, and then Garrett would be Garrett Trotter. And I think we're trotted.
We're trotting along. We're trotting along on this Friday evening right now.
We are. All respect to Bob though, and hope we answered your questions about what we think here, and they will. Yeah, they'll give some ramifications to these guys for this fight, and I don't know. This is just insanity. This is, as a friend of mine used to say in the 90s, purified craziness that we have here in this main event. Anyway, Garrett, where do we find that fight analyst? We find, with you and me, we're the breakdown. We are the breakdown together. But what about you?
You find us here,
yes,
Thursdays or Fridays, whenever we can do it.
Right.
But you'll find us every week on the breakdown. But to find me, you can find me at Fight Analyst LLC on Twitter, The Fight Analyst LLC on Instagram, and The Fight Analyst on Facebook. But also, guys, I need you to go over to Playmaker KO, like us on Instagram, like us on TikTok, like us on Facebook. I will be posting my best bets on the Playmaker KO TikTok, Instagram, Facebook pages tomorrow. As always, we've been killing it. We went great last week. I think we went 2-1. We're keeping it going. So just give us a like, give us a follow. Bringing out some great content, breaking news, fight predictions, the whole 9. Also, we'll be live, I believe, next Saturday for a live fight companion for UFC 267, which is a daytime fight. So we will be live, and we will be possibly live with UFC fighter Ronnie Lawrence in studio. That's right. We will be live betting with you guys. We will be giving you some live content during the fights. We're giving you live bets during the fights as well, so you can cash in some money while you're watching. So, yeah, guys, head over there, give them a like. Follow me on all social media platforms. Go over to thefightanalyst.com. Get my package today. We're keeping this thing going. We got over 19 units won in the last 7 days. 4 events, 19 units. That's it. 4 events, 19 units. That's almost a whole month's worth. We're keeping it going this weekend. We got Bellator tomorrow, midday, 12 p.m. We also got UFC Vegas 41 at 1 p.m. Let's get this money. We will see you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, see you all next week. You guys have a great night. Adios.
Peace. Out of here. Peace.